another session of Woman to Woman 360. I am your host, Patricia Anderson, and today we have with us Linda, Lady Pamela, and Percy. Can you all say hello for me, starting with Linda, please?
Hello. God bless
Hello.
you and excited about today.
Hey, Lady Pamela.
Hello, everyone. And we are excited. I am excited about the topic for the day.
And Percy.
Hey guys, so happy to be here. Can't wait for our conversation to start.
Amen.
No, right? All right. So, this is the reason for the conversations that we're going to have today about what is a woman. And I'm going to be honest with you, it's really too bad that we even have to have this conversation
Right.
because for generations, we've always knew what a woman was, what she does, what she represents. There was never a question ever about what is a woman.
Right.
But today, in today's society, there's been so many changes going on and so many questions about who we are.
Mm-hmm.
And so people have been asking, what is it? We even had back here a woman Supreme Court Justice, Tanji Brown Jackson, was asked to define what is a woman. And she said she couldn't because she's not a scientist. So, since when do you have to be a scientist to respond to she being a woman herself, mind you?
Right.
At least that's my understanding is that she's a woman. And she can't explain what she is? I'm just like, and now we've got Supreme Court cases out here about gender identification and all of this kind of stuff. I mean, it's just baffling. Linda, what do you think about this whole thing about people actually questioning what is a woman?
In our society, because of people just rather believe a lie than the truth. And it's right there in front of them. It scientifically tells you what a woman is. If you're not able to reproduce, you are not a woman. I don't care how you dress, what kind of operation you have. A woman was made, to reproduce. In the scientific, when I looked in the dictionary, that's the scientific definition. A woman produces eggs, all these things. And regardless of how much you want to look like a woman, act like a woman, say you're a woman, if you were not born female, and if you don't have those organs to reproduce, you are not a woman. That's the
Okay,
physical side of it.
yes. So let me say this though. We were designed to reproduce, but all of us can't,
Yeah, right.
right? For
Yes,
some
but
reason or another,
yeah,
there are
but
some
that
of
was
us
Eve
that
was
are,
when Eve was made. She was
mm-hmm.
made to reproduce. They were made to multiply and replenish the earth. So
Oh,
yeah, there are circumstances where some women cannot
mhm.
reproduce, but
However,
in,
they have the tools.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's what I
Yeah.
was
That's the
thinking.
thing. They have the tools. So what about
yes,
you, Lady Pam? What's your take on this?
Well, when you said that some women, don't have children, but they are biologically born
Mhm.
a woman.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Mm-hmm.
Katanji was trying to give a safe non-answer, being her
right.
in politics and what have you. But
Politics,
it's
correct.
it's shameful that we have to find a safe answer in
Yeah.
order to say who we are
Yeah.
without, being ostracized and criticized. This self-identification now, the idea of what a woman is an evolving definition now. It changes. When you can have Caitlyn Jenner,
Oh goodness.
Bruce Jenner, be called or the woman of the year. I mean, it is insulting to us women that are
Yes.
born women.
Right.
And then you have someone that's scientifically constructed saying that they're a woman.
Wait a
So
minute.
it
Was she
very
was were they called
uh
Woman of the Year? I didn't even know
Yes,
that.
yeah, she was on Glamour magazine, and she was voted as Woman of the Year in 2018, I believe.
Well, it's
Yeah.
interesting how, as we talk about them, we're
Mhm.
referring to them as she. So we've already giving him, her, they, whatever, the title of a
Mhm.
her.
Right.
We've already incorporated it. What about you, Percy? What do you think about this?
I think that we're going to have huge problems in the future. I think this is
Mhm.
just the beginning of the destruction of man, literally. Obviously, when you're doing this, you're
Mm-hmm.
trying to become God, your own
Mm,
God,
Mm,
by changing
Yeah.
what God gave you himself.
yes.
And now you're trying to change it. And if you're an adult, for me, listen, it's your choice. If I'm ministering to you, of course, I'm going to tell you what the Bible says. But when you're
Mm-hmm.
an adult, you have the right mind to
Mhm.
do and transition whatever you want. So it doesn't necessarily make me upset. It makes me upset that we're, with the Olympic, with all these transitions, now we have males winning things that should be for
for
females because
women.
they're entering
Yes.
into the sports arena because they classify as a female. And now we biologically know males, regardless if you take the estrogen or whatever medication you have to take to become a
Mhm.
female, you're still
Mhm.
biologically male and your muscles and your body is built like a male. So of course you're going to be
Right. And you
stronger
cannot
Right.
and
make babies.
faster. Right.
Mhm.
So
Right.
it
Yeah.
just saddens me for our children. That's really for
Yes.
me
Yes.
what I'm seeing as concerning raising, kids in this society and the conflict that a lot of kids are having that could be honestly, it shouldn't even be happening. They shouldn't
That's
have
true.
at such young ages. There's no reason why someone should be questioning if they're a girl or a boy at 9 years old before even puberty starts. To me, that's where the real concern is because if you're already starting at by the time you are a young woman, you're not
Mm-hmm.
even thinking woman like because if
Mm-mm.
your parents or society is, yeah, you're a male, you don't even know now how to even respond like a female, act like a
Right.
female, any of that.
Well, you know what? I don't know what's going on in Hollywood. I don't know what kind of water them kids drinking, these celebrity children. Somebody putting something in the water over there because I have never seen and don't want to see, but it's
Uh-huh.
there.
Yeah.
So many male children of celebrities in Hollywood that want to be
Mhm.
females. And
Mhm.
they're
Yeah.
supporting it, starting with Magic Johnson. You
Mhm.
got Dwayne Wade and several others where they're actually backing up their boys.
Yeah.
And these boys are 7 feet tall, six
Yeah.
something, and they're backing them up of them wanting to be a female
You know,
instead of
mhm.
saying setting the record straight. How could you even conceivably think, where'd you get that from, of wanting to be a woman at 7 feet tall?
Right,
Not that
Right.
height matters,
right.
but you have all the makings of a male, a
Right.
dominant feature in height and all of that. And for
Mhm. Mhm.
some reason, you seem to feel that you're going to feel more comfortable in life as a woman.
It just,
It's a trick of the enemy.
it
Yeah.
Number
is.
one,
It is.
because when like back in the day, men wanted their. I mean, sometimes they were too much over they were too much because they didn't give their sons a balance.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
back in the day, if a boy would come up and say, I want to be a girl, that father wouldn't even hear of it. But it's the trick of the enemy and how the deception
Yeah.
in our world is today. These people are deceived. I was reading definitions for a female, even with inanimate objects, like it was talking about electronics. A female electronic is used to refer to a piece of equipment that has a hole or space into which another part can be fitted. Female, a
Right.
plant belonging or relating to a plant or a part of a plant that produces flowers that will later develop into fruit. It's all reproduction. It's all female.
Mm.
They gave them these things that name because that's what females do. That's what we're
Mhm.
born to do. So it's like they've gone into the dictionary and changed the definition. It's no longer woman is no longer female. It's a
Mhm.
female, or if you identify
Yes.
as a
Right. Which,
female. So in this world today, I can go, okay, I feel like a woman today, but tomorrow I could be a man. Oh, today I
Mhm.
don't feel like a woman or a man. It's
Mhm.
mental illness. I was
that's
watching a
right.
video and the
It
man
is.
was in the court. He's suing the woman because he has a whole full horse head on, some hooves on his arms. He's identifying as a horse.
Mm.
This is mental illness. So,
Yeah.
it's just this deception and this perversion
Hmm.
in our world, not just in this nation, but all over. So now anybody can identify whoever you want to be. I could be a keyboard if I wanted to. I'm a keyboard, and people accept that.
Mm-hmm.
So let me identify as being nothing so that I don't have to go to work and I don't got to pay my bills and I don't got to do anything.
Right.
Like, it doesn't make sense to
But
me. But I have a few patients that are teachers, and I haven't picked their brain this past year, but in prior years, and I forgot, I think it was, or it is called the furry, meaning
yes,
the
I heard that.
child would identify as like a cat or a dog, and the school was having to do things like the parents would go in there talking about they need a kitty litter and crazy, crazy stuff. And this is
Yes.
what these teachers and principals have to deal with.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's very true.
So
As an educator, I have parents that have called me, or, people that I know, and they have asked me about what is being taught to their
Mhm.
children in these
Mhm.
health classes.
Yeah.
And a lot of
Mhm.
these women are Christian women, and they
Mhm.
do not want their children
right,
to be taught that it is okay for them to decide what gender they want to be.
that's right.
It's starting very, very early. This is spiritual warfare.
Yes, it
Amen.
is.
It
They
is.
are attacking our children
Mhm.
Yes,
at the root. If
yes,
they can confuse their heads early, then
yes.
we have a real problem.
We
Mhm.
do.
It's also in the DSM, the Diagnostic Statistical Manual for mental
Mhm.
illness. Being gay is mental illness. They call it gender dysphoria.
So when you were talking about the definitions, I kind of did the same thing. I looked up
Mhm.
biological adult female. Okay, we have female. What is female? Female has the reproduction system
Mhm.
that can produce offspring or produce eggs. And then, that goes down to biblically, right? Because I'm like, okay, I want like, what does the Bible say about women? And in Genesis 1:27, God defines it clearly. He says, so God created man in his own image, in the image of God, he created him, male and female. He
Female.
created them. And that's it.
Yes,
Mhm.
That's it. There is
that's it.
no non-binary. There is no
No.
none of that. It's male and female. And I
Mhm.
think that in today's society, even one of you guys said it, the deception when you speak to even like young adults, they
Mhm.
don't know. They don't even know. And it's because they've been deceived, they've been convinced, all these
Mhm.
things. And I do believe that it does start not only within the home, but definitely within the school. But
Mhm.
there are some parents out there that are supporting their children in
Yeah.
these decisions. And then
Yes.
later on, there hasn't been enough research and time to go by to see the effects of what's happening. The only thing I do know about that my husband and I have talked about is that there is either a YouTube channel or an organization, but I do not know the name of it, where there
Mhm.
were or has been transgenders and they have regretted
Yes.
transitioning. So why
Yes.
aren't we speaking
Yes.
and putting that on blast so that these not only kids but young adults can know that people are regretting their decisions. It's not as
They are.
luxurious as Hollywood is
Mhm.
Mhm.
making it to be.
When these people decide that they want to transgender, whether they're from boys to men, or I'm sorry, from men to women,
Mhm.
they don't consider
Mhm.
themselves gay. You know that, right?
Right. They're
They
transgender.
actually they
Yes.
actually have made a decision that they're changing their whole gender.
Mhm.
And so they don't actually want to be considered as gay people. They are this or that. I was this, but now I'm that, right? So when you guys spoke earlier about the mental health issues
Mhm.
going on with this whole thing, because I can't imagine why Jenner, who was the top athlete male in the world,
Mhm.
married twice, beautiful children, would want to even phantom becoming a woman. Now, I obviously, if I could think like him, then, you know, but this is becoming so rampant
Mhm.
in our society, especially the boys becoming women. Now, it's the flip side as well, obviously. I can't even imagine wanting to do the things men do, right? I wouldn't want to take on that responsibility. I don't want muscles like men have. I don't want to do the hardcore stuff like men do.
Yeah.
I don't want the worries that they
Mhm.
have. I don't want the stuff on my shoulders that men have. I don't want to do these things. So
Mhm.
I can't in my mind even think about why would I want to be something other than what God created me to be? What do you guys think of that? Are they seeing do you think the men see a easier life for women? So they say, well, maybe I should make that transition and then life will be easier for me.
I think it's the this homosexual, gay lifestyle, all these things. I think it's a spirit. It's a demonic spirit,
Mhm.
and that I think it's more spiritual. And then people putting things in your mind. It's all in the media. It's on the social media. I've heard some people say that, they did it just to experiment. I heard a man,
Mhm.
a celebrity said he had had enough women, so now he wanted to try being with men. It's it's mental illness and it's a spiritual thing. I love being a woman.
But now
But
if he wants to experience being with men, then that's different than experience being with a man that has turned into a woman, right?
yeah, that's different, but still, whether you turn into a woman or not, you still a man with a man.
Right,
I don't care how you look at it. You still
right.
are. And a lot of this is just perversion. It's
Mhm.
perverted,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
It's a spirit of perversion. And
Sodom and
now the
Gomorrah all over
world is
again.
accepting it. So really, they act like we as heterosexual people, straight people, you call them, something's wrong with us. It's
Right.
just, you see it
Mhm.
everywhere. It's in every movie, it's on
Yep.
commercials, it's everywhere. And then our children are looking, and you have to explain to them, no, it's man and woman. You have to
Mhm.
explain to your children why there's two men or two women, or it's just terrible. When we were coming up, you're a boy, I'm a girl.
Yeah.
That's
So
it.
Pam,
Oh,
what's your input on this whole woman thing? Because God said that the woman was created to be a helpmeet to the man, right?
yes.
If God created
And
us to be a helpmeet to the man, how can I be a man and be a helpmeet to? I mean, the
you can't.
definition purely in the Bible, Proverbs 31, outlines who we are, what we
Yep.
do, and what we represent in another body. How do we do this? I know that they're not biblical when they do this stuff, obviously. They're operating under a whole nother spiritual realm, obviously. But that's what the word says, that's who we are. And that's what we were
Right.
created for,
That's
right?
I believe that it is a spirit. And we know that spirits take control. You give it an inch and it will just take a mile. The spirit has entered their minds and they believe that they're living in this world where they think they're women and then they have a man, a husband, even because, now
Mhm.
they're married. They believe that they are a woman and they believe that they are a help to their spouses.
All right.
So it's mental illness and it is also the spirit.
Yes.
Mainly it's the spirit that has taken control. And I really believe that it is mental illness because they've had to put it in the diagnostic statistical manual for mental illness.
Yeah.
Okay.
At gender
So
dysphoria. So they believe that they're women.
let's take it all out of the context of transgender, mental health, and all that. What is a woman? Percy, what is a woman?
A woman is a biological adult female. It's denoting the sex that can bear offspring or reproduce. So, kind of hitting on, I wanted to dive into this a little bit because listen, it makes me mad that these men can turn to women, but yet they don't know what a cramp feels like. They don't know what menstrual period is like. They don't know the mood swings, the cravings, all the stuff that we have to fight through. And you just get to say I'm a female? Like, no. Bearing a child, what it does to our body, the way God designed it so beautifully, and you're just trying to take it away like it's nothing? No, that's not right.
All right. So, Lady Pam, what is a woman? When I'm asking you to give me your definition of what is a woman.
A woman is Proverbs 31 woman. She is clothed in dignity and strength. We have dignity. We have strength. We don't have the same strength as a man, but we have strength. Women are strong the way that they were born.
Okay.
We were born to be a help to our spouses. We were born to have children. We carry a weight that men cannot carry. They carry physical strength. We have to carry mental strength. We have to be mentally and physically prepared to deal with everything that society throws at us. And now we're dealing with the idea of men thinking that they are women.
So Linda, let me ask you this because all women are not Proverbs 31 women, but they're women.
No, you're not.
So, given that we are in a society, because all women are not, you know, Proverbs 31 women, women from a biological sense, right? They're women because they were born with the woman parts, right? So, given that, the dichotomy between the two, what is your take on what is a true woman? If you're talking to a woman who is not a Christian, right? She doesn't even understand the concept of a Proverbs 31 woman, but she's a woman. So how do
Yeah.
you if she comes to you, let's say even from a counseling standpoint, and she said, I need to understand what my role is. What am I supposed to be doing? Who am I supposed to be? What would you tell her?
But you have two perspectives. A woman is a woman physically.
Mhm.
When you get into the Proverbs 31 woman, you're looking at someone that knows the Lord and that is saved. Or, and even there are women that work in that area have some of those attributes of Proverb 31 woman and may not
But
be saved. I
remember,
just
you're
want to.
talking who does not know because she's not a Christian. She does not know anything about a Proverbs woman. I mean, 31 of
So
the
the
Proverbs.
counseling, you're counseling two different ways. If you're talking about a Christian counselor and someone that is counseling someone that really doesn't know who she is, what she's supposed to be. But I think, regardless if you're saved or not, though, you
Hmm.
need those attributes to be a woman. Because everybody's not saved that's married. Every woman is not saved, but those attributes. I mean, we all are going to, if a woman comes to us and asks these
Mhm.
questions, of course, we being saved, we're going to give biblical answers because
Hmm.
that's who we are, you know. But I think a woman still needs to know who she is physically,
Hmm.
mentally, and spiritually. It has to be whole. It has to be every area for a woman to be whole. So even if someone is not saved, I still can give them that information. You know
Okay.
what I
So
mean?
now,
What are
oh, now, would you guys agree that regardless of whether or not she's a spirit-filled woman, a Christian woman, woman on the street, there are some characteristics other than physical characteristics that a woman, true woman, should have. She should be caring, right? Usually women are the caring people, right? They're the ones that, since we are built to have the children, we are the ones that generally have more compassion for people, right? We
we're
generally are the one
nurturers?
that,
Yeah.
We're
mhm,
nurturers.
caregiver,
Yeah.
right? We're
Mhm.
generally the
Mhm.
ones that make sure things are taken care of in the household for the most part,
Mhm.
regardless of where we stand
Help me.
spiritually. Those things that usually women do, even if there are no children, there's
Mhm.
a household to be
Mhm.
taken care of from the standpoint. Because now,
Mhm.
when somebody comes to my house isn't clean, they're not gonna look at Daryl. They're gonna look at me.
No, no, they're not.
Mhm.
Right.
Exactly.
No,
Yeah.
they're
We
gonna
we we
well,
are. We
they're gonna say,
but
she's
women as a whole, because I've seen women that are not saved or whatever, but they stand
mhm,
by their man and their helpmeets. They may not be saved or whatever, but they try to
Mhm.
encourage. I mean, a good woman, you know,
Mhm.
is going to try to encourage that husband and be there and push him to be what he's supposed to be. So don't. I
Mhm.
think some things are just natural in a
right?
woman. You always have exceptions. But before I was little or younger, you know how you be writing on how many children you gonna have and writing their names, and there's just certain things that a little girl that's there. I'm not saying that all, but that mindset of wanting to be married, be there for your husband, and you're thinking all this, especially the fairy tale thing. But it's just in you. It's in you. And I think so much things that happen in the world or how you were raised or sometimes changes that, because when we're born we're innocent, we think everything is good. Everything is good. But as you grow up, you find
Mhm.
out these things. But I think that women, whether you're saved or not, if you're a good woman, you can't say that women aren't good because they're not saved or they're not good wives or whatever. But that spiritual
Mhm.
part needs to be there as well.
I think this era, it is different. I'll speak for myself. Growing up, right? There's certain things that as a girl, you just did not do. You didn't even, as a matter of fact, you didn't even think about leaving the house half dressed with see through clothing on. It is the norm right now for young people, and not only just young people, but we've got women that are half dressed and exposing their bodies.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Does that take away her womanhood? Or is she still a woman?
It takes away her being respected as a woman. We have less women being less, there's less marriages now than there were years ago. I think we have accepted so much that is not in alignment with the word of God. And it is destructive. It is destroying who women really are. We need women like ourselves and how we were raised
Mhm.
to tell these women and these girls how they are to conduct themselves.
Okay.
There's something where I just read where someone ostracized Felicia Rashad because she was saying that no man wants to see their woman half dressed in public. There was someone that just really went in on her, called her an old woman, she's been divorced, and let them show their bodies if they want to. But someone did stand up for her and said that, what these young people, what these women are doing today is wrong. Losing respectability.
Let me say this. Based on your
Hmm.
conversation about how they're dressed,
Yeah.
Kanye West, have you all seen his wife and how she dresses? No?
Who?
Kanye West.
No, who?
Have you seen
Oh,
his wife? Okay. She only wears
yeah.
underwear,
Yeah.
basically, but she's a wife, right? All right. Sierra, she steps out on the red carpet. She's half dressed, always. You can always see,
Hmm.
but she's a
Oh.
wife.
Hmm.
So I say that to say these women have husbands when some of them don't,
Yeah.
and they're stepping
Hmm.
out on the red carpet or in public with their husbands arm in arm,
Hmm.
but they're still women
Hmm.
and they're still wives,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So we do have there's when we start to talk about how women dress and things like that, does that take away from her being a woman? Or does that just take away the way she looks to certain people as a woman?
Hmm.
Because she's
I
still
think
a
she's
woman
still a woman.
and she's still a wife to her
She's
husband.
still a woman.
And he still accepts how she stepped out, in some cases, promotes it,
Right. And
right?
that's a key word, right? They are wealthy people in the public eye. And them putting forth that image is not good for regular, normal, everyday women because it's
Yeah.
putting the wrong idea
It,
to young people.
and it's
But
unfortunate,
Yeah.
to the
See, they
world,
do it for
that is the norm.
right?
I
And
said, to the world, that is the norm.
it's unfortunate because,
they're promoting themselves.
yes, they're promoting it.
Hmm.
And then what you have is single women who are looking at these women and saying, well, they got husbands and they're able to, do what they do and wear what they wear. So maybe in some cases, that's what I need to do to put myself out there or what have you. But see, these women already got their husbands, right? But my thought here is what is it deep down besides the external stuff that makes us women? Other than the reproductive, we already know that. Other than the way that we step out or how we look or anything like that, what is in the inner core of a woman?
So, what I gathered is that at the end of the day, a woman is made up of her heart and her mind that God designed in such a way that we are that loving, caring person in a manner that a man cannot be. That's why God designed a man and a woman, especially in a family form, because both contribute different things. The mom is like the heart of the home, right? You go running to mom when there's a problem. We are the doctor. We are the counselor. We are the taxi driver. We are the heart of the home. We are the chef. We are too much. That man can't be it.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And that's just the tip of the iceberg. But we are so much, not only to a husband or to a spouse, but to our children, that a man could never fill the role of a woman just because you change your outward appearance. It just can't happen because God didn't design a man to think or to process things or to multitask things like we do. You know, I could be cooking a meal in the kitchen while my daughter is asking me a question and my son is talking to me about this. And they're like, oh, you didn't hear me. And I'm like, oh, that's the answer to that. And yes, I did. A man can't do that. You
Okay.
guys were talking about something that I wanted to point out. You guys were talking about women half naked, the appearance of women and all that. And this whole transgender thing, if we really point out what a man is desiring, it's he's desiring to look like a woman because once again, God designed us in such a way that he made us beautiful. And so I think because of culture and because of society, what the less amount of clothes they're wearing, the way they perceive things. Who is it? The Jenner guy, Bruce Jenner, the way he was surrounded by beautiful women. How many of them? Like 6 of them. So guess what? They're getting all the fame, the attention, and he's just on the back burner. So guess what? The attention isn't enough. Let me do something that's going to overtake their attention right now. And so to me, I'm looking at it as, you know, we are beautiful beings that God created, and a man can never replicate us mentally, emotionally, in our heart. The only thing that they can do is replicate us because of implants, plastic surgery, and all that. But internally, there will never be a woman. They can, and then that's the scary part because there are some women or men that have transitioned as women that are absolutely beautiful, and you would never know that they're a real man. And that's the scary part about the society we're living in now. And I've even joked with my son because he's 18. I'm like, you better make sure that you know what they were born as from the parents or whomever, because you just don't know nowadays.
We're supposed to be the softer side of the two genders, right? That is the way things were created. There's the hardcore male, there's the soft woman. So no matter what you look like, no matter how you dress, no matter the facade that you put on, that is one of the things that's supposed to be the characteristic of a woman. However, as you know, in this today's society, we've got some really hardcore women, right? They haven't transitioned, and I don't think they plan to transition, but their heart is hardened. And even though they could be pretty on the outside too, and still be very soft looking, but they're hard. They're very hard in their demeanor. So why is that? Why have some of what God created to be soft, still in a woman form, have hardened themselves to have almost a masculine demeanor?
Some of them have experienced in life. Some of them have had really tough situations, you know, born into some tough situations. Some of it is rejection. Some of it is the fact that there are not a lot of desirable men. Men, our men now, many are incarcerated, many are gay, many are not able to provide for a woman or a family. And women have had to stand up and be stronger than they were really meant to be because they had to handle this load. And I think some of that makes women harder and tougher. It's society and what society has thrown on them.
Okay.
Sometimes I think it's a survival mechanism, just having to be hard. Than women
Yeah.
that are in corporate, in order for
Hmm.
them to survive in this male business, they have to be harder, they have to be sharper than men to just try to measure up. So,
Hmm.
Yeah.
and like you said, some of it is the way you were brought up, some of it was hurt, some of it is trying walls up. I got to protect myself. I'm not going to let anybody hurt me so it's different reasons why women are hurt. And some of it is just a mask. They're really not, but they feel like they have to be to put on that air to protect themselves.
I agree, especially when you're dealing with women in corporate America. It's a challenge because it's like a crab barrel effect.
Hmm.
And if they don't bring it
Mm.
like a man, they're not going to get the respect, right? So they have to be
Hmm.
both. They have to be women with a hardcore exterior so they can survive in the right.
So you ever heard someone say, woman, especially if you act emotional and you're in a
Mm.
high position, you know, even in the election and the president, if a woman gets in there, she's too emotional, just different
Mm.
things where our emotions and the way we are and the way we're made up is going to go against us in some areas. And so that's
Mm.
why you feel you have to let me act like a man. Let me act hard so nobody tries to think I'm a pushover and disrespect me, mishandle me.
Mm-hmm. It's hard. I'm sure it's hard for men, but it's hard for women because we are such multitaskers. Like Percy was saying, there could
Mm.
be so many things going on at the same time that we have to deal with it. We're expected to deal with it. We can't just sit it on a shelf and say,
Mhm.
let me come back to it later because I am the woman. And as the woman of the house or the home, the expectation is I can handle it. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So being a
You
woman,
don't have to be hard.
that's right. And so we are expected to have all of the soft qualities and be able to be a multitasker at home, at work, in the church. Those are expectations. And we inherit those in one form or another. Go ahead, Linda.
Yeah. But strong women sometimes they intimidate men, because they
Mm.
expect you to be soft and sometimes
Passive.
not have no backbone. You know, let me
Passive.
mold
Yeah.
you into what I
Mhm.
want you to mold.
That's
But they
it.
see a strong woman
Yeah.
and they get intimidated.
It's
Yes.
And it's
true.
not that
It's
you're
true. It's
hard.
very.
You just know who you are and you're confident in who you are. And now I'm
Yes.
Right.
intimidated by her, you know.
Mm.
Sometimes I wouldn't say I'm hard, but some people have said I have very strong character or persona about me. And for
Mm.
myself, I know that because of my upbringing and some of the trauma and challenges that I've had to go through has
Mhm.
caused me to be more defensive. Not really that I want to, but it kind of has just happened, especially when it came to men, because that's where my hurt came from was in a father figure. So now, I'm thinking, okay, this is what I've seen. I'm not going to let no man take advantage of me, hit me. Like, so now I'm like standing my ground and being like a strong woman. But in deep down inside, I'm really weak. It's really just this persona, so to speak, that I kind of have as I think more of a defense mechanism than anything else. Because my husband says, like, yeah, you talk, but at the end of the day, you're really loving and caring, but you have a strong character. And you wouldn't think that I'm also loving and caring when you hear me like this, so to speak. So sometimes it could be almost defensive, like we're trying to protect ourselves as well.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
I like what Linda said when you can be soft and still be hard and strong.
Mm-hmm.
I can speak for myself.
Mhm.
I'm a girly girl.
Yes.
Okay, I'm soft, but yet I am a very strong woman because I have had to be. I have been single until I got married 8 years ago. So therefore, I handled
Wow.
my business
Mhm.
on my own. I got what I needed to take care of myself.
Right.
Okay. So I had to know what to accept in my life
Mm.
and what to reject. And believe me, I rejected a lot. And people don't like when they cannot mold you or make you be what they want you to be. So you can still be soft and feminine, and you can still be strong and standing up for yourself and what you want. And that can be that may be why it took me so long to get married. I don't know. But my friends, my friends who really know me and my family, for years, they would tell me, I don't know who you are going to marry. They said, but he's going to have to be one strong man because, I appear to be soft. I appear to be, but no, 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 no. I got some strength.
Yeah.
So I like that, Linda.
Yeah, but I think a good woman knows when to be strong like that because women,
Yeah.
like sometimes women that are in corporate and they have to be strong, they don't know how to turn it off when they get home. They're still,
Mhm.
and come home and and know when to do it. And the example from what I was talking about is my daughter worked in corporate, an executive position,
Mhm.
and the men were intimidated by
Mhm.
the strong, confident woman that she was and knew what she was doing.
Mhm.
So sometimes, but I believe that a strong man that knows who he is not intimidated by a strong wife, or
Right.
a strong woman. A strong man that knows who he is, he's mesmerized by that. This strong woman that knows who she is, that's confident in who she is. So you just have a good woman is smart. She knows when
Mm.
to turn it on, when to turn it off. She knows and she's confident in who she is.
Well, you know what? When you're a strong woman and strong in your spot, you're an additional blessing, really, to any man because he doesn't have to take it all on. You know what I mean? He not
Right.
only does he have a
Mhm.
help, but he has a confidant, right? That understands
Yes.
from both standpoint their roles,
Right.
right? And like you said, she knows when
Yes.
she needs to be soft. And sometimes she's got to play hardball too, just to keep everything together in the household. Although he's there, you know what I'm saying? She's still that soft
Mm-hmm.
cushion that's hard enough to stand beside him and help keep
Right.
things rolling. That's a benefit.
It is.
That's a plus.
It is.
So let's introduce a lot of the hip hop culture right now when it comes to the young women. And it's so common now for the women of this generation and of that world, hip hop, if you have it, and they are so comfortable with calling each other or calling themselves even hoes and bees, right? And I'm not just talking about in their songs, I mean, just in their communication between one another. They're so comfortable with calling each other out of their names. What do y'all think about that whole cultural when it comes to women that way?
I think it's like you said, it's part of the culture. It's almost like a slow progression, right? Because even for myself, when I was younger and I did listen to hip hop and rap, it would be in there and the degrading of women would be in there. And it was almost like cool or whatever term is now what would be cool. And so being in high school, listening to this music, it's not cool if you're not listening to the music, if you're not using the words, if you're not being a part of it, then you're kind of like picked on. And I think it just has almost like propelled and became worse. And I don't watch regular TV, but I'm almost certain in some form or fashion it's out there in regular TV too. And I think that because they're putting it throughout all these facets that we use, the social media, the TV, the shows, the BET, the this and that, the music, then it becomes normalized where it's like another language to them and they don't even know that they're speaking in a way that's disgusting because to them it's normal. And I think because of that, it goes into not only how they're talking, but also how they're dressing that we just addressed earlier. It's a whole thing because it's now, you get on I don't even know. I'm not on TikTok, but people have talked about TikTok to me, and it's like the newest fad. And it could be about something cooking, but it's like all over TikTok. Like I do a lot of recipes. It was ricotta cheese. And here we go. Everyone's talking about ricotta cheese at work and how to make recipes and stuff. And it's just like, wait, what? I don't even have TikTok, but yet somehow I'm knowing about this? And I think that's that culture that we're living in. It's just so fast, everything's at our fingertips that it's so easy for us to just say, hey, it's okay. It's not a thing when we don't have someone at home or a church body or that fellowship to be like, hey, young lady, you shouldn't be speaking like that. You're worth more than that. Do you not know you are a daughter of a king? Like when we don't have that kind of influence in our mind, then we think the world defines us, but we know that God truly defines us.
So, in that culture, they've accepted demoralizing each other just as a way of communicating.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
They've made it acceptable with not even thinking about the fact that you are being disrespected,
Right.
allowing someone to call you out of your name.
Mhm.
No one should be called anything other than what their name is. When you erase someone's name, you are erasing who they are,
Wow.
and you're accepting to be called, something other than, like Percy said, we are royalty. We are born of the image of God. We're his children.
Mhm.
We're born from a king, and we are being disrespected, dehumanized by accepting people calling you these names.
Well, it's crazy though. I mean, just in our conversation,
But like you said, it's the culture.
but just in our conversations tonight, just from the cross gender stuff to all of the different things, we are under attack, right? I mean, women are literally under attack.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And we're doing it
Yes.
to
Yeah.
ourselves.
Yeah.
We're letting society do it. I mean, we're putting ourselves in a position where we don't even want to do the thing that God brought us here to do, which is reproduce. So we're not even having families anymore. The culture, whether it came from the feminist movement, this whole transgender thing, we are literally under attack. We are in a position now that we don't even procreate. We don't even make babies like we used to. The whole woman movement is just clamping us down so that we look like something other than what God created us to do. So I'm going to ask each one of you to just, in a quick summary, just Give us an idea if a woman is talking with you and she's coming to you because she's really not sure what her role is as a woman.
So I would, because I am a Christian, because I believe in the Bible, I would start off with some generalized questions, kind of just to gauge where they are spiritually and tell them my beliefs and kind of let them know that, because I believe God made male and female, that we are women that can reproduce. God made us in a very special and unique way that is not like a man. We are the nurturers, the love of the home. We can multitask in so many different ways. We can juggle things that a man cannot. I would try to speak to her in those manners, also pointing to her that, she can know her true identity first comes in Jesus Christ and knowing her salvation in that. And once you know that, then you can know that you are a daughter of a king, that you are saved, you are chosen, you are unique, you are blessed. There are so many things that we can see the Bible says about us being children of God, but ultimately, like we had talked about earlier in the video, God gives us an example of a Proverbs 31 woman that we can strive to be. Not that we're going to be perfect, but we have these wonderful verses that the Lord has given us that we can go ahead and try to be a woman that takes care of her home, is a helpmate to her husband, helps to do things, supports her kids, and all these things, and just a combination of things that makes us unique and make us women, and try to minister to her in that way, and that God made her exactly how she ought to be. God doesn't make mistakes. And just know that she's loved and highly favored, and that she just has to choose him, and he can help her through any difficulties and any other changes that she needs to have and talk about.
Pam?
If a woman or a young woman came to me and they were a bit confused, I think I would tell them to believe what God says about them, that they are fearfully and wonderfully made, and to believe that you are special in His sight and that you have purpose. You were created with purpose, and that God says He loves you, and that you should love yourself. Lift your head up. He is the lifter of our heads, and anything that we ask Him, He will do. And He hears us. He hears your cries, and He does not turn a deaf ear. I would tell them to seek God in all things, and that all things are possible to them that believe in Him, to seek God for your help. He's your refuge and your strength in the time of trouble. Seek
Mhm.
God.
It's hard going last because everybody says what you were going to say. But I would just tell them how special they are, that God created them and they have a purpose. Um,
Mhm.
that never let anybody disrespect you. No matter what's going on in the world, what the world is saying, stand out, be
Yes.
different, be respectful, respect yourself, first of all,
That's a
so
big
that
one.
others will respect you, and just know who you are. Like Lady Pam said, you're fearfully and wonderfully made. God did
Mhm.
not make a mistake. And when you were born, He's already put everything in you that you need to live a righteous life, and people say, well, why are you always, it's spiritual. It's spiritual. Anytime you say, I don't care what you're telling people, you go to the word, because the word is truth. The truth is what's going to set them free, make them
Amen.
free, and be free in the Lord, and be free to be all that they can be for Him. So they just need to know who they are and not let people try to validate them. Know who you are, and you don't have to worry about people validating you or telling you who you are. God already told you.
Lady Pam, would you like to pray us out, please?
Lord, we thank you right now for each and every person that is on this podcast. We thank you for the Andersons, Daryl Anderson and Patricia Anderson, for creating this platform that we will be able to get a message out to the people, that they will have an understanding of what is going on in the world and what is going on in society, and that they will understand that God is here and that God is willing
Yes.
and He is able to do all things. Well, I thank God for each and every one and for their purpose and for what they have contributed to this podcast. God, I ask that you bless each and every one here, bless the podcast, bless our mouths, Lord Jesus, and our ideas, that we will help other people, God, and that we will build your kingdom.
Yes.
In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Well, that concludes this episode of Woman to Woman 360, and we look forward to seeing you the next time. Thank you and take care.